good evening, good evening. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Be Your Best Life with Coach Deborah D. Smith. I am super excited to have Miss Billie K. Johnson back on. How are you doing, Billie?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, wonderful. Well, we are here in the month of October already. Christmas will be here before you know it.
Yes.
But it's all about your actions. We've been talking about that all year long because it doesn't matter if it's what you're writing, what you say, the expression of your face, your voice tone, everything that people see are your actions, and that's how they judge you. So before you let it come out, stop and think about what your actions are going to say. Well, this month in October, our theme is positive living, ultimate success. Positive living, ultimate success. And today, Billie and I are going to be talking about what did you say? And you'll see here a little bit more and understand a little bit better when we get into our conversation. But right now, Billie's been on before, but I'm sure we have people that are new, but we want to find and get an update on Billie to see what's been going on. So please tell us all about yourself, Miss Billie.
Well, thank you so much, Coach Deborah, for having me back. It's good to be with you. It's good to see you, and it's good to see everybody in the community. I am Billie. I am people know me as Billie K. Johnson, and I like to say that I'm just a girl. I am I'm just a lady. I'm single. I'm an empty nester. I am a recovering workaholic. I'm a lover of naps and a lover of Jesus Christ.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. That is wonderful. We're so delighted to have you back on. Well, sometimes it is so hard to believe things that come out of people's mouths. I
Mhm.
mean, not only is it, difficult, but sometimes it's appalling when we think back on some of the things that we think ourselves, because it's not only what comes out, it's a lot of times it's what comes up, because normally what comes up does come out.
That's right.
But
That's right.
But it seems that there are no filters when it comes to what people will say to you sometimes. They'll say it about you, to
Mhm.
others. So, Billie, have you ever had someone to say something to you and you had to think to yourself, what did they just say? Can you
Mhm.
tell us about it?
Yes, yes. Being in a corporate environment, there's many opportunities for people to say the wrong thing. I've been in meetings and received comments on my hair that would probably violate the Crown Act that they are implementing across the country. I have had male coworkers say things, forgetting that there's a girl in the room, girl, girl in the room. It was very inappropriate. Should have kept that for locker room talk. I've been in a relationship that was verbally abusive, where he would say things that how I'm not good enough, I'm stupid, I'm lacking this, that, and the other. I can't do anything, and all of that. I have been told that I was a feminist, but in a negative connotation, being that I was trying to rule over men.
Wow.
So I've had a few things said to me that you do stop and pause. Really, really, what? But at the same time, I've had people tell me how amazing that I am when I didn't believe it. I've had told people tell me how I've helped them when I didn't see that I really did anything. And I'm sure you have experienced it. I've experienced it. You're walking in the store and somebody stops and says, "You're so pretty." So there is a variety. there's a variety of things that I've heard, even when people talk about themselves and how they are not whatever they should be. um, to hear people say things about themselves is makes me pause sometimes and say, "What?" Yeah.
Yeah, they really will. And I love it. Miss Carol says, Billie, you are so amazing.
Thank you, Miss Carol.
Yes. Oh, that Billie can she can make magic, I tell you. Yes, yes, yes. But people can really say things and make you go, okay, I know I didn't hear what I think I just heard.
Mhm.
What did you
Right,
just say?
right, right. I growing while my son was growing up, I was very big into teaching him about how your words matter. The Bible tells us that life and death is in the power of the tongue. And so if I'm close enough to that person and they say something, I will actually pause and say, "Why would you say that?" Understanding that our words have power. And that's something, because I was teaching it to him, that I spent a lot of time making sure that I understood and had a grasp on. So then when people say those things that are a little off, it really did make me pause and say, "What? What did you say?"
Yes. Well, you mentioned that you're a mom, but as a mom who raised a son, I am sure you probably ran into, similar situations with your son. I know I did, and had to say, Jeremiah, what did you just say?
Hmm. Hmm.
Let's face it, millennials and this newest generation, they have the least amount of filters, I think. I know, as teenagers, I think everybody kind of mouths off or whatever, but I believe that the millennials and the other generations, they don't see anything wrong with it. You're supposed to say whatever you're feeling.
Hmm.
So, what advice would you give to parents on dealing with negative talk from their older children, like their teenagers and older?
This generation, and I'm not going to even say generation, I'm going to say this time period that we're in, there is a lot of filter lacking. There's not a lot of filter. And I believe, this is my personal opinion, that it's because of social media. I think social media gives people a green light to say and do whatever. I believe it or not, I saw a thread on Twitter where this lady was celebrating that she was the side chick. She had been in a long-term relationship with a married man, and she had these tweets. It was probably like 10 tweets, talking about how this relationship was working with her. And so many of the comments were, "Can we bring shame back? Can we bring shame back?" Because people don't have a filter and they just let anything go. You let everything just fly. Um, the decorum and all of that, things have changed. And again, I think it's a lot of social media. um, the advice that I would give to another parent is, first of all, you have to remember that this person is no longer under your thumb. You can offer advice and strong suggestions. If they live in your house, that's one thing. But if they are an adult that no longer lives under your roof, what I've been learning, you move into an advisory role as the parent. You are no longer, now you're not even necessarily an authoritative figure in their life, because they're coming into their own. They're coming into their own as an adult, into their own person, especially in that young adult time frame, like around 17, 18 to young early 20s. They're figuring out who they are. A lot of those kids, they go off to college, and then there's like this identity crisis, and who am I and what do I stand for? What is it that I believe? So you have to remember that you're this person, even though you gave birth to this person, you raised them, you changed their diapers, you fed them and you clothed them, you spent your last dime on them, you did all of those things, made all these sacrifices. But as a young adult, they are no longer under your thumb. And so you need to put that into perspective. And then understanding that, I would offer to treat them as you would a family member or a friend, associate, a colleague. And what I like to do when I hear somebody that's speaking negatively is to reframe it with something positive. So just because they said something negative doesn't mean that you have to agree with it. And when I say you don't have to agree with it, that means even shaking your head, even though you may not say anything, just by you shaking your head, you're agreeing with what it is that they're saying. And
Right.
so the opportunity that you have is to shift the conversation and to respond with a positive, to counter it with a positive. That's what I would offer. And then also pray, lead by example, and to pray. Those would be the advice that I would offer.
And those are great.
Mhm. So for example, if your older child is talking about their job and this person gets on my nerves, my coworker this, my boss that, da 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 da, you know what? Let's be grateful that we have a job. Let's be grateful that you have people to interact with, because there are some people who are looking for a job. Um, if they're driving a car, when kids are starting out, they don't have the material possessions that they desire or that they see on the gram. And so they might be in a complaint, speaking negatively, and you have to remind them, you don't know what that person has gone through, but look at what you do have. Instead of looking at what you don't have or what you can't do, what is it that you can do? What can you be grateful for?
That's right. That's the good reinforcement because I mean, when you say that, I mean, no matter what, you wake up with a headache, somebody else has a migraine.
Mm-hmm.
You wake up with a backache, it's some people that can't get out of the bed most days.
Mm-hmm.
So it is always someone that is worse off. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I just want to take this opportunity. We had some people to jump on since we started, so I wanted to say good evening to Carolyn Cuffey, Kara Crockett, and Agnes Copeland. Thank you all for tuning in. And then we have a comment here from Carol. So your words have so much power. Words are put into the atmosphere, and you did not give your words an assignment. Wow. You may not like where they end up.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, now that's something to think about. You put them out there in the atmosphere. You don't know where they may end up. So that shows us that we need to really, really think before we speak. I mean, and just
Yes.
like we said, you said you won't even go into maybe saying generations just today. I know, you say things and you don't mean anything by it. You just say it. But like I have a habit of saying, what the? And I'm not going to say the other word, but I just say, what the? And my granddaughter, she started saying it. And her grandma was like, what did you just say? Where did you get that from? Nana? So, we really have to watch it because some of those things have a negative tone to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Even if you're driving and you say, oh, that person just so stupid. Why did they pull over on me? Then they're going to, they might call one of their classmates stupid.
Mm-hmm.
So we just have to be really, really careful
Mm-hmm.
that, uh, yes, but they will make you stop and ponder.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it is essential for people to pause and research or accept what they may already know. Negative talk and negative self talk have many attributes that are not conducive to having a productive life. On the flip side, we know, I know I know, I think everybody on here online with us here know that positive thinking has some tremendous benefits. So, Billy, in your opinion, what are some of the health benefits of positive thinking?
Well, I usually am pretty good about connecting with Dr. Google. And so my connection with Dr. Google,
Dr. Google.
yes, Dr. Google has shared that some of the health benefits. So speaking of just our vitality, the our bodies, our living of our lives, the benefits of positive thinking: increased lifespan, lower rates of depression, greater resistance to illness, better physical well-being, better cardiovascular health and reduced risk of death from cardio disease, reduced risk of cancer, reduced risk of death from infections, and better coping skills during hardships and times of stress.
Wow.
And speaking on that last one, I've been learning a lot about trauma and what trauma does to the body and how it affects your cortex back there in the back, what it does to your hormones. And those cortisol levels can increase when you are under chronic stress and when you are experience trauma. Your body goes, well, I'm going to speak for me. I had heard of fight and flight, but there's also a freeze, fight, flight. And so your body does all of these things, but if your mind is not set up to handle that from a positive perspective, then you're going to be in trouble. And it literally is going to affect your hormones. It is literally going to affect your insides. I'm also aware that negative thinking can also affect your digestive system. It's going to mess up how you eat.
Wow.
So those are the things that I've learned in connecting with and consulting with Dr. Google.
I go to that doctor every now and then too. Yes. So you can really find out a lot when you get up there to look at that. But while researching this topic, I found out that a positive mindset, actually reduces the risk of death from cancer. And as I was thinking about it, just as you were talking, I can remember hearing Joel Osteen always talking about, and it's probably been 30 years now, 35 years, because he's been saying it for a while, that, his mom was diagnosed with cancer and they weren't expecting her to live. And she was just like, God has too much for me to do. I'm not giving up. And she began to think positively and whatever. And she, is still around. So I can believe that, that positive thinking will assist you, So, having an impact on the outcome of cancer, being indicative of the power of positive thinking, that just tells you just how powerful being positive versus negative really, really is.
Yes, absolutely. It kind of reminds me of putting used or bad oil in a car engine. If you put some bad or dirty oil, if you put dirty oil in your engine, you're not going to be able to go very far. You're going to have a problem. And so you have to clean out the oil. You have to get an oil change, depending on your manufacturer, 3,000 to 5,000 miles. And so you need to clean out that stuff, because as you go, as with the car, as you're driving along, that car picks up stuff. It picks up stuff within the engine, and that stuff gets in there, and that's how your engine oil gets dirty. So I understand. And so you've got to get that oil change every 3,000 and 5,000 miles. And the same thing with our thinking. You need to have a tune-up, a check-in or whatever, and clean out the gunk that has been picked up along the way.
Mm. Yeah, just think of the gunk we can pick up.
Yes. And it's so easy. It's so easy to pick up the gunk and you're not even being intentional about picking that up. It's just life. We don't live in bubbles.
That's
We
right.
do not. Unfortunately, we do not live in bubbles. And so you're just going to be picking stuff up and you didn't even mean to pick it up. That wasn't your intention. That wasn't your purpose. You didn't try. Sometimes you didn't even know that you had picked it up.
That's right. Yes, it's contagious too, people.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to watch who you're around, what they're saying and doing, because it is easy to pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a comment, another comment from Carol. She's the fight and flight, free flight, free flight and flight. Negative thinking can cause your appetite to be all off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then she also says align your thinking, your words, and your actions. Yes, please do. And others are also influenced. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a big thing. So not only are you impacting yourself, if you do it, you can impact others. And in the same way, you look at somebody like, what did you just say? So they're not
Mm-hmm.
only impacting you, but anyone else that heard them. And then if they said something to you like that, you're not the only one. So
Mm-hmm.
it's being spread. That's just like, COVID, you get in that room with somebody, it just spreads.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we want to think about that positive thinking and what we are listening to, what we're watching on TV. Because you turn on TV, you can see some stuff, and I'm like, huh, what? They had that on TV? And
Right.
they used to have like sensors at a certain time of day. They didn't have certain things on. Now your kids come home from school,
Mm-hmm.
they see anything that you would see when you get home at and watch something at 10 or 11 o'clock at night. It's on TV during the daytime. So
Right.
there's no sensors.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if I said hello to Deacon Holmes. I see you had tuned in. uh, Another thing, can you please provide us some examples of the power of positive thinking relating to health?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
So for me, where your mind goes, that's where you go. Where your mind goes, that's where you go. It's your mind is the control command center. So this is not like an exaggeration or anything like that. Where your mind goes, that's where you're going to go. And so if you've got this positive thinking that you're doing, that you're engaging in, you're going to have joy and peace. And I don't know that we can put a price tag on peace. Peace is so priceless. Peace, I mean, man. So from a health perspective, you're going to have a healthy outlook on life in general. You're going to have healthy relationships with other people, starting with yourself. You can have that healthy relationship with yourself first, and then that will then web out into having a healthy relationship with other people. And again, one of the first things that the Mayo Clinic talked about was an increased lifespan. And as a personal example, my mom's side of the family, they live until 90 plus years old. And all of them were always jovial, always enjoying life. They had things that were lacking, but that's not where they dwelled. They dwelled and focused on what it is that they did have. And so when we talk about the positive, what is it that what is positive? It's easy to find what's wrong. That's easy. And so let's do the hard and find what's good. And that's what they would do. True story, one of my mom's uncles, it was her Aunt Rhea. They told her she got her cancer diagnosis and she laughed at the doctor and got her purse and went on. She didn't. And she lived a very long time after they told her that she had cancer. She didn't do any chemo or any of that. She just, all right, laughed at the doctor and kept it pushing.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. And it is amazing now that you mentioned that. I think about my mother-in-law. She is 99 and she's just as happy. She has fun. She don't miss any of the birthday dinners or anything. So if you going, she trying to go. They take trips for spring break, go for the week, whatever. She's right there. But she doesn't hold things. If whatever she has to say, she says it. She doesn't say it like in an ugly way, but like if something you said something and she didn't think it was right or you didn't act the way you should have, she'll talk to you about it or whatever. But I just living like that, and she is. You would not think that she is 99. And she like put my makeup on for me, put my eyelashes on. But she feels good. So, hey, so we can tell that there is a difference. So we all need to ensure that that's what we're trying to do. Carol said, where your mind goes, you will go. And you must guard your peace. Don't allow anyone to rob you of your peace. Now, that is so true, because you can be happy. Like I tell people, you get up and we had a retreat and we were talking about being recharged. And, I told them it's so important to make sure that first thing in the morning, you get a full charge. You need that battery on 100. So you do those affirmations, your prayer, your meditation, whatever you do to get it on 100, because you can walk out the door and something zaps right away, or you can get to work and walk in. Good morning, how is everyone? Immediately somebody's trying to zap that energy from you. So you gotta do what you can do, and that's to stay positive. So every time somebody zaps some of your energy, you need to be trying to replace it, because you don't want your battery to get down to red where, when you need it, you don't have anything. So.
Correct. Absolutely. That's so important. The Bible talks about putting on the whole armor of God. And you need to put yourself on. You need to put yourself on and get your mind right, put on your armor, all of that before you go out your bedroom door. Okay. So you need to have it together before you start your day.
That's right. Yes. Well, this has been an interesting conversation. What did you say? So I just want everybody to, hear on Build Your Best Life in case we have some new people. So I am hoping that you would share this conversation. The videos never come down. They're always out there. So if you know someone, say, hey, I wish my friend was on here. I wish my son was on here. Please share the videos. Of course, my niche is to assist young men and young teenage males and young adult males to overcome obstacles and learn about respect and credibility and do those things that will help them to build their best lives. But let's face it, a lot of our young men, they don't want to tune in and listen to Miss Deborah. So I've got to try to get that contact with their mothers, their fathers, their aunts, their grandparents, mentors, and educators. Pass the word along. We are here to assist and to help. So just help me to continue to get the word out there. So continue to like and share. I really appreciate that. And I always appreciate y'all when you tune in. So, Billie, as we prepare to close, can you please give our young men and mothers of sons some tips on achieving positive self-talk? Because we all need it.
Well, I think it's important that you make sure that you guard your gates. Be careful of what you allow in your mind, because we've talked about where your mind goes, that's where you're going to go. And so your gates that I'm referring to are your eye gates and your ear gates. What is it that you're looking at, and what is it that you are hearing? You need to be very careful about what goes on in what comes into your gates. Additionally, you need to surround yourself with people who are positive. It's birds of a feather flock together. Association brings around assimilation. We've all heard those phrases before, and there's a lot of truth to those. So be careful who it is that you are surrounding yourself with. And then also understand that life happens. We don't live in a bubble, and things are going to happen. Very bad things are going to happen. There are going to be some things that you're going to think it's not fair, or you're going to think, why did this happen? Why me? And in those moments, you don't have to skate over them, skip over them, or act like it didn't happen just so you can remain positive. No, just deal with it. My personal philosophy is, if you fall down and get hurt, that's okay to sit there and cry. Just don't stay there. Have your moment. Take the time that you need. Cry, vent, kick, scream, do all of that. But please don't ignore what you're feeling just because you want to make sure that you stay positive. Again, life happens. It happens to all of us. So that's another one. And then also keep practicing. Keep practicing the positive thinking and the positive talk. And you do that by affirmations. When Jeremiah was growing up, we used to do a never again list. And if you Google it, it's there out there on the internet. But it was scriptures, and the affirmation would start. I remember the first one was, never again will I confess I can't, for I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And so you have all of these never again will I this, or never again will I that. And then you've got the scripture to go with it that backs up your never again, because we know, and I believe, that the word of God is true. The word of God is true. That is truth. That's truth. If you don't know anything else, know that whatever the Bible says, you can bank on that. And so, and then the other affirmations, what is it that you want to be or see yourself, or how you want to do? Say those things. Come up with whatever you need to in order for you to look like that. And understand that when you do these affirmations, your life's not going to change after saying them one time. You may not even see a difference after, 2 weeks. Just keep going. It's like when you're working out in the gym, or you're changed your diet, and you had one day where you ate a salad and air sandwich, and then you went for a walk 10 miles, and then you get on the scale and you didn't lose 50 pounds, and you don't want to do it no more. So, that's not how that works. So keep going, just keep going, keep practicing with the way that you think, and then what it is that you say.
All right. Those were awesome, awesome, awesome. Say, guard your gates. We talk about it all the time. Sometimes we think just because someone is a family member or whatever, that it's okay. Whatever they say or do is fine. No, it's the same principle. If they're just always talking negative to you, saying you can't do this, you'll never be that, you're gonna be just like your daddy. No, you don't need to be around them. You have to guard your gates. Mm-hmm. Surround yourself with positive people, and life happens. If we could all just realize that, I pray, I try to follow God, and look what happened. He didn't say every day was going to be a bed of roses, every day was going to be perfect. Sometimes we go through things because we learn, we get experience. Look at COVID. COVID taught us so much. Now, if COVID hadn't happened, would we be here on Zoom
Mm-hmm.
sharing? I may
Mm-hmm.
have never ever met Billie if it wasn't for COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So things happen. Life happens for a reason. So, get the positive out of what's going on. Take time to stop and think. It's happening for a reason. Keep practicing positive thinking and positive talk. Those affirmations, I love those affirmations. Those are good. And I had never heard of Never Again Will I. That sounds
Mm-hmm.
like that is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those were amazing. Did I get them all?
I think so.
Yeah. All right. So thank you so much, Billie. Is there anything else that I maybe didn't ask that you want to share at this time?
I appreciate the opportunity to be back on your platform, and um, if let me just say this: if you've been in a place where you haven't been having positive thoughts, or your talk is not what you desire, you can change. You can change.
Yes.
It's never too late, and give yourself some time, give yourself some grace. Grace is really important. Extend grace to yourself. So that's all I would have to offer, and love on the people that love on you.
Almost definitely. But thank you so much. We really appreciate having you here today. I miss you so much, but I know how to contact you.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you, Miss Deborah. I miss you guys too.
All right. All right. So please join us this Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That'll be October the 6th. We're going to be talking about what's your sign. And we're not talking about zodiac signs. So you need to show up so we can tell you what sign you might be. And it might be a sign that you don't want to follow. So join us Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As well, it's getting close to that time. It's near Thanksgiving. Every year I have a grateful conference. This year is going to be blessed and grateful. And that's going to start on Monday, November 14th, and run through that Thursday. So you'll be hearing more about that coming up. But please visit my website, www.buildyourbestlife.org, and check out my calendar of events. And so you will see everything that's happening. Make sure you turn on your notifications so you'll know when we go live. Also, on my website, you can read my blog that comes out each Monday. Check out the services that I offer, which is coaching, consultation, speaking, webinar speaking, and you can get your autographed copy of my book, Build Your Best Life. Have them in stock. You can get it right away. If you prefer the Kindle version, you can get your Kindle version on Amazon.com. So again, thank you all so much for tuning in today. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Remember, as you travel on your road to being a better you, there will be distractions, rough terrain, and detours. Life happens. But don't let any of those negative aspects of your journey stop you. Though they may slow you down, make you shift paths, keep going to be a better you so that you can build your best life. And remember, building your best life is our business. That's not a slogan, it's our commitment. I love you. Be blessed, stay safe, and we'll see you next time. Hopefully Thursday. Be blessed. And again, thank you so much, Billie.
Thank you.